what's going on? This is Jay from SonyAlphaLab.com, and in this video tutorial we're going to go over metering modes using the Sony Nex-5n as our camera body. Basically what metering modes do is they tell your camera how to prioritize the exposure. That's basically what metering modes are, to summarize it. So let me just go into the menu and show you where this option is. You have to go to brightness and color, and you select that, and then just scroll to your metering mode here, like so. And right now I have it set to center, and you select that, and here's your three options. You have spot metering, which is great if you just want to get just the very center of your screen and you're very concerned about one specific point. That's what you want to use spot for. So you know you need the exposure on a specific point, and that's what you want. You want that information. It works really, really good for when you're doing HDR photography. You can put it on spot meter, and then you can move around the scene and actually get your shutter speeds and stuff. I'll show you that in a second. And then you have multi-metering mode here. And multi takes the whole scene into consideration, and it uses the focus point to prioritize some of the exposure information as well. And multi is great if you're just pointing and shooting. Multi is normally where I have it set just because it does a good job pointing and shooting. So that's what multi's for, and it's great. It averages the entire scene, and it uses the focus point as part of its prioritizing. And then center is what I like to use for portraits and stuff, especially headshots, because center allows you to make sure that the face or the center of the scene, it's like the center 30% or something like that. It's somewhere around 30 to 35%, depends on the camera. But basically it uses the center of the screen, and it'll get like an average exposure. Notice it's doing a pretty good job with Layla right now as she's panning in and out. Her dress and her skin looks pretty good, but it's darkening the rest of the scene. Whereas average didn't do that. Average let a lot more light in on the outside here because it averaged everything. This is just concerned with the center though. So it works great. So I'm going to go to spot meter now, and I want to show you how this works a little bit more in detail here. As you can see, you could see how the exposure is changing as Layla scrolls. But watch when I loosen. Let me just move the camera just a little bit. And I apologize if this goes slightly out of focus, but I just want to show you how this spot works. See, when I go on black, look at that. It jacks it up, and when I go on white, bloop, goes right down. That's what's so great about spot. So if you need to find the exposure somewhere in a scene, like you can go right here. I need to know what is it on Layla's head, Let's see. It's telling me right here on the bottom. Notice how the shutter speed is changing. So you know what you need to set the shutter speed to if you're using manual mode, for example, or if you're using flash, things like that. So these concepts apply across many different cameras, not just this camera. So please keep that in mind. But anyway, that's spot metering, and it works great. And I actually have my metering modes programmed. I have my metering modes programmed to my button here, so I can get to it really quick. And I'm just going to show you how to do that real quick. So go to menu, setup. Yeah, go scroll through here, and then just look for the. Here you go, custom. Back button right here, custom key settings. See that? And I got the right key, which is this key right here on the right hand side of the circle, set to ISO. I have the B key set to metering mode, and then the other key, the other soft key, is set to shoot mode. So now when I go back to this, you can see if you hit the center button, it's going to bring you into shoot mode. See that? That's because that's how I have it programmed. If you hit this right button, it's going to bring right to the ISO. It's a great shortcut because that's a very it's a feature that you a setting that gets changed a lot. Metering mode, very important. I have that on this one. And that's pretty much it. You could program your focus mode somewhere too if you like to change that a lot. Let me go over the focus mode real quick. Menu, camera, autofocus area. See this? You have center, flexible spot, and multi. Multi does the same thing. It pretty much averages out the scene, tries to figure out what's important, and it has algorithms in there that tell it, what certain scenes are, so it'll prioritize. If it thinks there's a human in there, it'll try to focus on the human, subject, etc. Now, center is very easy. You just point and shoot. That's a great one if you just if you're having trouble focusing on something, for example, if it's focusing on the wrong thing in multi-mode, if you just can't get it to focus on what you want, sometimes that happens, you can just go to center, and then you have a much better chance of getting it. And then you have flexible spot, which is great for when you want to, focus on something, but you don't necessarily want to focus on something in the center. So, for example, if I wanted to take a picture and I wanted to have Layla on the left side of the scene, I can turn the camera a little bit or whatever, and then move my little spot around like this, and then focus over here. Layla would be sharp, and then say the background over here would be out of focus. For an example. Another very cool feature on the Sony Nex-5n, but it relates, like I said, across many different cameras, the focus modes and the metering modes. So I hope you guys got something out of this, and have a great day. And remember, check out SonyAlphaLab.com.